Good afternoon, everyone. Now we will see one of the important compound in the oxygen family, oxygen. Same like 15th group element, dinitrogen preparation, its properties. Similarly here, 16th group, dioxygen, its preparation properties. That we will see now. Dioxygen. So here, preparation of O2. So we can prepare oxygen in the laboratory preparation. That is simple. The decomposition of the salts like nitrates, permanganate salts, chlorate salts, dichromate salts. Those salts, if we decompose it, we will get oxygen. First one, thermal decomposition of various salts. What are they like this? Potassium chlorate. Generally here we will use the catalyst manganese dioxide to improve the rate of the reaction at 400 degrees centigrade. It liberates oxygen. We take 2 moles. So this is the preparation of oxygen here. Similarly, other salts like sodium nitrate. Nitrate salts, generally if we heat it, you get sodium nitrite plus oxygen. Mostly sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, all these nitrate salts, if you heat it, you will get. Next to other salts like potassium permanganate. This is important in the decomposition of potassium permanganate. Also gives oxygen. You will get potassium manganate, manganese dioxide and oxygen. Potassium dichromate. Potassium dichromate, again if you heat it, that can give potassium chromate, just like potassium permanganate. It can form a green color residue, chromium oxide and oxygen. These are thermal decomposition of various salts like chlorates, nitrates, manganetes, dichromate salts. Similarly, some other thermal decomposition of oxides. Some metal oxides also can liberate oxygen. This is also important. Second type, thermal decomposition of oxides. Thermal decomposition of oxides. Oxides like silver oxide. Silver oxide less stable in nature, easily undergo thermal decomposition, and it can give metallic silver and liberates oxygen. Mercuric oxide. Red lead, there is a Pb3O4, mixed oxide of lead. It also liberate. And PbO2, lead dioxide also. Generally lead +2 oxidation state is more stable than +4 oxidation state. It can easily convert from +4 to +2 oxidation state by liberating oxygen. Next, manganese dioxide, and if we heat it, you get Mn3O4 plus O2. And these reactions can be increased in presence of sulfuric acid. Generally, if you take sulfuric acid, the reaction can speed up. Next, some other reactions. Reactions with sulfuric acids. These are the thermal decomposition reactions. Next, treating with sulfuric acid, concentrated sulfuric acid. If you treat with concentrated sulfuric acid, just instead of decomposing that potassium permanganate, if you treat with sulfuric acid, also can liberate oxygen. And these are potassium permanganate and treatment with sulfuric acid. Here it liberates oxygen. Similarly, potassium dichromate. So previous case, this is a thermal decomposition reactions. Now similarly, we are treating with sulfuric acid. Get chromium sulfate, water, oxygen. Same like previously, we have taken manganese dioxide. When you treat with sulfuric acid, previously we have discussed the thermal decomposition, but here treatment with sulfuric acid.
Sir, in first reaction is it?
Next, 2PbO2, lead dioxide. You can treat with sulfuric acid. This one will get. Similarly, we will get oxygen from hydrogen peroxide and sodium peroxide. Next, from hydrogen peroxide, thermal decomposition of hydrogen peroxide, sodium peroxide. Sodium peroxide hydrolysis reaction. The sodium peroxide we can call oxone. Preparation of oxygen from oxone. You can see here thermal decomposition of hydrogen peroxide. And hydrolysis of sodium peroxide. It can give sodium peroxide, and hydrolysis can produce sodium hydroxide and liberates oxygen. Next, from pure oxygen can be obtained from the process Brin's process. Just like pure nitrogen, that is from azides. Here we will get the pure oxygen from the peroxides, that is the barium peroxide. In this reaction, first we will convert barium oxide this is a pure preparation of oxygen. You get barium peroxide, and this barium peroxide or directly barium peroxide, if we heat it, you get barium oxide and oxygen, and this oxygen is pure form. You will get pure form of oxygen. So this reaction, actually barium peroxide can be come from like this, but this reaction is important. Barium peroxide and thermal decomposition. These are the some chemical reactions. Next, one more method on large scale synthesis. Generally for industrial purpose, we can prepare the oxygen just like nitrogen, fractional distillation from atmospheric air. Mostly oxygen contains 21% by volume. So larger amount of oxygen can be collected from there, and also from water. The best source for the oxygen is water. The electrolysis of water also can give the large amount of oxygen. The last one, large scale preparation. What is that? First one, electrolysis of water. You will get hydrogen at cathode and oxygen at anode. Next, fractional distillation of air. Air can undergo fractional distillation. You will get various gases here, nitrogen, oxygen, but through the fractional distillation we will get oxygen. Properties of oxygen, both physical and chemical properties. Oxygen in gaseous form, it is a colorless gas, but in liquid and solid state it exhibits some color. So in gaseous state, it is a colorless gas, but whereas in liquid and solid state, it is in blue color. But intensity will vary, liquid to solid the intensity will increase, but blue color. When that oxygen is a paramagnetic in nature, according to the molecular orbital theory MOT, we have two unpaired electrons. There is a paramagnetic in nature. Now chemical properties, if you see, oxygen can react directly or indirectly with all types of metals, non-metals, semi-metals, metallides, everything. Most of the cases we will use oxygen as one of the reactant, combustion reactions. So it can react with all type of elements. All metals, non-metals, metalloids, and some compounds. Even with the compounds also it can react. Except there are few cases with noble elements or some noble gases also it cannot react. Except noble metals like gold, platinum, these elements, it will not react directly. Why? Because they are having less reactive in nature. The energy is not sufficient to break the oxygen double bond. That is why. And noble gases, there the reactivity is very less, but the remaining cases it can react, almost it can react. Let us see few examples here where it can react with some metals, some non-metals, but not that much important this part, but for idea purpose. Some metals, let us take calcium, can react with oxygen. These are like combustion reactions. Calcium oxide, aluminium, we get alumina, some non-metals like phosphorus, we get phosphorus pentoxide, carbon, mostly fuels, hydrocarbons, and some compounds. SO2 will react with oxygen, can give sulfur trioxide. These are the reactions useful in the preparation of sulfuric acid in contact process. This reaction can be catalyzed by the vanadium pentoxide. And this is for the preparation of chlorine. Here we can use a catalyst copper chloride. For the preparation of chlorine we will use this reaction. Next, for preparation of nitric acid, is ammonia. Already this we have discussed. Ostwald process, Platinum is a catalyst. It can produce a nitric oxide. This nitric oxide further will use nitrogen dioxide and finally nitric acid. Like that. Everywhere we can use oxygen. Here are the few examples that how oxygen can react with metals, non-metals and compounds. Now we can see uses of oxygen or applications of oxygen. Here liquid oxygen can be one of the important fuel for the rocket. It can be used as a fuel for rockets. Used as rocket fuel. And oxygen, when you mix with carbon dioxide or helium, can be used as artificial respiration purpose. Oxygen, when you mix with helium or carbon dioxide, and this mixture can be used as the artificial respiration purpose. Next, oxygen can be used in the oxyacetylene flame, used as oxyacetylene flame. This is generally we can use in the welding purpose or cutting purpose. Oxyacetylene flame. This is generally for welding purpose. Welding or cutting. And also isotopes of oxygen generally we can use sometimes in the reaction mechanism to identify the mechanism we can use it. Oxygen 18 isotope is used to study the reaction mechanism. Mostly isotopes can be used to study the reaction mechanisms. Used in the study of reaction mechanisms of a chemical reactions. Next we have the oxides. Now we will see oxides. About these oxides already we have discussed in the periodic table in the 11th, but again anyhow we will discuss again here. First of all, what is the oxide? You can write the basic definition. It is a binary compound of oxygen with another element. Oxide is a binary compound. Binary compound of oxygen with another element. It may be anything, that is called oxide. We have various types of oxides are there, but we can classify them mainly broadly two classifications. One is based on the amount of oxygen present in that given oxide, and the second one broad classification based on the chemical nature, right? First broad classification based on oxygen content or amount. We can be classify them as based on oxygen content. First one, normal oxides or simple oxides. Normal oxides or simple oxides. So, which are normal oxides, simple oxides? The element, if it is having the sufficient amount of oxygen to satisfy its valency, then the type of oxides we can call normal oxides or simple oxides. So in the binary compound, if oxygen is having the required amount, then that is called simple oxide. Here, if oxygen present in required amount, then the type of oxides. Let us take example of to satisfy the valency of other element. Let us take sodium oxide. Here sodium valency is 1, 2 sodium atoms are there. For 2 sodium atoms we required 1 oxygen. Oxygen valency is 2. 2 sodiums required 2 valency, that can be satisfied. Let us take magnesium oxide. Again magnesium valency 2 and we have 1 oxygen, so it is satisfied. Let us take N2O5. Nitrogen valency. Here we can take N2O5 structure like this. In between we have 1 oxygen bridged between the 2 nitrogen atoms. The maximum valency of nitrogen here is 4, so it can be satisfied by these 4 bonds. Like this, we can take these are the normal oxide where the elemental valence is satisfied by the oxygen, or if the oxygen present in the required amount, that is called normal oxide or simple oxide. Second one, polyoxides. Here amount of oxygen, the content of oxygen is more than the required. So more than the required valency of the element, and they are called polyoxide. Here the amount of oxygen present more than required. To satisfy the valency of the another element. Here polyoxides, again we can take like further peroxides and superoxides. Peroxides. Let me take example of sodium peroxide. Generally for 2 sodiums we require only 1 oxygen, but here 1 more oxygen is extra. So for 2 sodiums 2 oxygens are there, and so this is called, here the amount of oxygen is more than the required amount, and so it is called polyoxide. So all peroxide comes under this category. Sodium peroxide, barium peroxide, all peroxides. So these are the peroxides. In the second type, superoxides, also polyoxides. Let me take this potassium superoxide. Actually for 1 potassium we required half amount of oxygen, but here 2 oxygens are there. Again this is more than the required, so hence it is polyoxide. Potassium superoxide, rubidium superoxide, all superoxide also comes under polyoxide, etc. Polyoxides, peroxides, superoxides. And the third type, suboxides, where the amount of oxygen is less than the required, less than the valency of the element. Suboxide. Oxygen present lesser than required. Lesser than the required amount. So to satisfy the valency of the element, you can take example here. Carbon suboxide C3O2. For each carbon we required carbon valency 4. For carbon we required 2. Generally if we take carbon dioxide, this is a normal oxide, carbon dioxide. But 3 carbons you have 2 oxygens only. Actually 1 carbon required 2 oxygens, but 3 carbons are also taking the 2 oxygens. So this is lesser than the required. Actually we required 6 oxygens. but we have only 2 oxygens. So this is called suboxide. Similarly, nitrous oxide. Actually, nitrogen dioxide, this is a normal oxide. Nitrogen valency, if we take 4, sometimes valency we can take 3. But here N2O, again 1 oxygen is there for 2 nitrogens. Again this comes under suboxide. Next, fourth type, based on the content, mixed oxides. Generally mixed oxides they are made up of a combination of 2 simple oxides or 2 normal oxides can form these mixed oxides. These are made up of simple oxides. Two or more simple oxides. Let me take a very important example here, magnetite Fe3O4. And here Fe3O4, iron present in 2 oxidation states. Actually, this is made up of 2 simple oxides. FeO, iron in +2 oxidation state. Fe2O3, where iron is in +3 oxidation state. And the second one, Pb3O4, this is called red lead. Again, it is equivalent to the 2 PbO and PbO2, simple oxides. See, in case here lead oxidation state 2 and here lead oxidation state 4. It's satisfied. And manganese oxide, Mn3O4. Again, here manganese present in 2 oxidation states, that is in +2, just like magnetite Fe3O4, Mn2O3, +3 oxidation states. Like this. These are the mixed oxides. They are a combination of these 2 simple oxides. These 3 mixed oxides, again, very, very important. You should remember. And what is the formation? So how they can be formed? This also you should remember. In the next, broad classification of oxides based on the chemical nature. Second broad classification. Based on chemical nature. There are again 4 types, like acidic oxide, basic oxide, amphoteric oxide and neutral oxides. First you will see acidic oxides. So which are acidic oxide? When dissolved in water, they form oxy acids, and the type of oxides are called acidic oxide. Generally, when oxygen combined with non-metal, mostly it can form acidic oxides. So here acidic oxide, when combined with water, it can form oxy acid. And these acidic oxide generally can be made up of non-metals, most of the cases non-metals. When combined with the oxygen, they can be formed. Acidic oxides can be formed. And this acidic oxide can react with these anyhow acidic in nature, they can react with the bases and they will form the salts. And react with the base, it can form the corresponding salts. Let us see a few examples here. Mostly non-metals, non-metal oxides, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, sulfur trioxide, nitrogen oxides, phosphorus oxides, chlorine oxide, all these. These are the some non-metals, non-metal binary compound, binary oxide, they are acidic in nature. And these acidic oxide when react with water, let me take SO2 sulfur dioxide, one of the example, it can form its corresponding oxy acid. H2SO3. And similarly, these oxides, when react with sodium hydroxide bases, let me take sulfur trioxide or carbon dioxide. If I treat with some base, potassium hydroxide, it can form the salt potassium carbonate, acid base reaction type. These are the few important points about acidic oxides. Mainly I should remember which can form acidic oxide, mostly non-metals. And next, second type, basic oxides. So basic oxides. Then what are the basic oxides? And these are the oxides when dissolved in water, they can form basic hydroxides. Acidic oxide can form oxyacid, but they can form the hydroxides, alkaline hydroxides. And same as usual, generally basic oxides are the oxides when they combine with metals. Metal oxides are basic in nature, and they can react with acids and they can form corresponding salts, just quite opposite to the acidic oxides. We can write basic oxides. When dissolved in water, they can form hydroxides, corresponding basic hydroxide or alkalis. These are mostly metals when combined with oxygen and can form basic oxides. And these basic oxides, when react with acids, as like acid base reaction, and they can form salt. I can take so many basic oxides. We have, why? Because in the periodic table, most of the portion is occupied by the metals only. First A group, second A group, and 13th, 14th, the bottom element, they are basic in nature. A few of examples, basic oxide. Sodium oxide, calcium, magnesium, strontium, barium, lithium, some etc. These all comes under basic oxides. And when they react with, for example, calcium oxide dissolved in water, you will get calcium hydroxide. They can form their corresponding hydroxides. And this calcium oxide, if you treat with sulfuric acid, what you will get? Calcium sulfate, salt. Like this, the reactions can take place. Next, third type, neutral oxides. Mostly we will get three neutral oxides. They neither react with acids or bases, and they are neutral oxides. What are they? Carbon monoxide, nitrous oxide, nitric oxide. You should remember these three. And these three are neutral oxides. Next, the last one, amphoteric oxide. This is again very, very important. Amphoteric oxides. So the oxides which can behave like both acids and bases. They can react with acids and they can react with bases. And they are amphoteric oxide, mostly metallides. But apart from that, some metals can also form these amphoteric oxides. And if you remember at least these neutral oxides and amphoteric oxides, we can easily identify the rest of the thing. That means acidic oxide, basic oxides. Mostly basic oxides with metals, acidic oxides with non-metals, with a few exceptions. Where we will get the exceptions? Exceptions with this neutral oxides and exception with this amphoteric oxides. And so you have to focus mainly on this neutral oxide, anyhow these three only. It is very easy to remember. And come to the amphoteric oxides and how to remember these amphoteric oxides. This is important task here. So I'll give you the list of amphoteric oxide and how to remember group wise. I think this we have taken already, even though again we'll take. First come to the first A group. First A group alkali metals, completely they are the metals. So all first A group metals, they can form basic oxides only. First A group element, they can form basic oxides. So we'll take up. First A group elements, completely they can form basic oxides. What are they? From lithium oxide, sodium oxide, potassium oxide, rubidium, cesium and so on. All are the basic oxides only. No exception there. Come to the second E. Alkaline earth metals, again they are completely metals only, but in that beryllium oxide is the exception, and this is amphoteric. Beryllium oxide is amphoteric. Again remaining are basic oxides. What are they? With magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, again all these oxides can form basic oxide except the beryllium. Next, 13th group or third A, 13th group, boron family. Again here boron is a non-metal, non-metal can form acidic oxide, your exception with B2O3 is acidic oxide. This is acidic. Why? Because it is a non-metal. Next, aluminium. Aluminium is amphoteric in nature. You should remember this. Aluminium is a amphoteric. Then the remaining, the rest of the all elements oxides are basic in nature. Remaining are basic oxides. Second A group only beryllium and third A group only aluminium. Remaining are amphoteric. Some cases, some books you can see gallium oxide, GaO, they will mention as amphoteric, but no exact information about this. They will mention that it is amphoteric. But we don't have much questions about this gallium oxide. We can leave that one. Best, very, very important, this Al2O3. Next, 4th A or 14th group. Carbon, silicon, germanium, tin and lead. Carbon, silicon, they are non-metals in nature. They can form acidic oxides only. Carbon, silicon can form acidic oxide. Now come to the germanium, tin, lead. Carbon, silicon, germanium, all these three can form acidic. But tin, lead, tin oxide, tin dioxide, lead oxide, lead dioxide. These are amphoteric in nature. Again the remaining after tin, lead, we have these amphoteric. First two are the acidic. The first three elements. Last two elements we have amphoteric. 14th group. Next 5th A or 15th group. There we have the nitrogen, phosphorus. Mostly they can form acidic or trioxide or whatever it is. And here exception. What are the exception? Exception with nitrogen oxides. N2O, NO. These are neutral. Except these all are acidic only. Again you should remember the exception, then you can apply that logic. Now come to the arsenic. As2O3 and antimony, Sb2O3. Arsenic, antimony in +3 oxidation state, they are amphoteric in nature. These are amphoteric. When +3 oxidation. But if they are in +5 oxidation state, they are acidic. Again, acidic. Take As2O5, Sb2O5. These are acidic in nature. Next, bismuth. Bismuth in +3 oxidation state basic, but +5 oxidation state acidic in nature. But our main focus is amphoteric. Next, 16th group. R68. Oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium. Only tellurium can form amphoteric oxide. Again, remaining oxygen, sulfur, selenium, they are nonmetals. Anyhow, nonmetals can form acidic oxides, except with this. That's it. These are the S and P block elements amphoteric oxides. Very easy to remember. What are they? We can write it together here. S and P block together. First, second A group only, beryllium oxide. Next, 13th boron family, aluminium. And gallium oxide, yes, you can keep aside for some time if they ask. Next, 14th group, both tin and lead, +2, +4 oxidation state, they are amphoteric in nature. Tin monoxide, tin dioxide. Similarly, lead monoxide, lead dioxide. These are amphoteric in nature. Next, 15th group, arsenic antimony. They are in +3 oxidation state, amphoteric. Over. Next, 16th group, tellurium. This is amphoteric. That's it. These are the amphoteric oxides in both S and P block. Easy to remember. If you remember these things, the remaining you can easily identify whether they are acidic or basic. Neutral, anyhow, we know the three. Next, one more task with a D block. How to identify in the D block case which are the acidic, basic or neutral. Neutral, nothing is there. Amphoteric. Again, we can go with D block elements. So here D block elements, they can show various oxidation states. That is with the +1, +2, +3. The metal oxide with the +1, +2, +3 oxidation state, mostly it is basic in nature. And metal oxide with +4 oxidation state, amphoteric in nature. And metal oxide with the remaining +5, +6, +7 or +8, they are acidic in nature. Again, here few exceptions. Exception with again, if you remember this exception, you can identify. They are zinc oxide where zinc is in +2 oxidation state, chromium oxide where chromium +3 oxidation state, vanadium pentoxide where vanadium +5, and these three are amphoteric. So you include these three here, amphoteric in nature. Apart from that, the metal with the +4 oxidation state also amphoteric. You can easily identify the oxidation state from that. You can, except these three. Zinc in +2 oxidation state should be basic but amphoteric. Chromium +3 should be basic but amphoteric. Vanadium +5 should be acidic but it is amphoteric in nature. So this is a kind of shortcut to remember amphoteric oxides.